stand for the opening prayer and pledge.
Father in heaven, bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so that we work for the good of our community. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Thy will be done. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hancock County Commission will come to order this 7th day of June 2018 at 2:30 p.m. Mr. Clerk, would you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Davis, all commissioners are present today.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes from May 17, 2018. Move to approve. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Government agency presentations. We have Donnie Yeager, Northern Panhandle Workforce Development Board, in regards to the 2018 Summer Youth Work Experience Program. Welcome, Donnie.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I appreciate everyone's time this afternoon. Yeah, my name is Donnie Yeager, and I am the program coordinator for Youth Opportunities Unlimited, which is the youth program funded by the Northern Panhandle Workforce Development Board. We operate through Youth Services Systems. We operate in the northern 6 counties, from Hancock County all the way down to Wetzel County, and serve a total of 126 youth ages 14 to 24. I wanted to come up this afternoon to discuss our program in general, just kind of give everyone an outline of what we do, and to discuss our summer work program, as we have that coming up somewhat rapidly, heading into this time of the year. So as I mentioned, we serve the northern 6 counties. That's our region. We serve a total of 126 youth. The flyer does say 14 to 24-year-olds. The way that works out is our funding allows us to serve 80% out-of-school youth, either by graduation or dropout, and 20% in-school youth. So out of 126 youth, 25 youth are allowed to be in school at the time of enrollment. I will say that as of right now, our in-school youth numbers are full because youth that were in last year, first come, first serve, come back into the program. So we don't have any spots for in-school youth, but we are looking for youth that are out of school, as I said, by graduation or dropout. We offer 14 elements of service to the youth that we serve. I'll discuss paid and unpaid work experience, which is the top listed one last, because that has to deal with the summer work program, and that's kind of the main thing I want to discuss. But we offer our youth, if they're in school, if they need help with tutoring skills, we'll do that. We'll connect them with with either task centers or adult basic education. We'll connect them with occupational skills training. Basically, we want any youth that we're working with to get on a career pathway so that they are going for something where they can be successful. By being enrolled in our program, they are eligible for funding of up to $4,750 a year for up to 2 years for what the State Department of Labor deems an on-demand occupation. I can say in the last 2 years I've had folks graduate with welding, culinary arts, business management, heavy equipment operation, Class B CDL, a number of things where basically the thought is we fund you, you get your certification, and you get a job. Or you head towards a career, not just a job. If someone is looking at dropping out, we will do whatever we can to try to discourage that because we want them to graduate. But if they do, we'll connect them with an alternative school or the task classes that replace the GED in West Virginia. We work with financial literacy education. Basically, a lot of the folks we work with, it's real easy to take for granted balancing a checkbook or shopping, like spending your money wisely. So we do a lot of that with the folks we work with, where it's like, if they're on assistance, how to spend your money better, or if they are on a tight budget, how to make that budget work so they can eat for the month and not be short or anything like that. We offer leadership development activities. One of the ones we do, for example, is we do a litter pickup in East Wheeling, where we pick up the sidewalks and the streets, and it's kind of like a service project for them. So they're kind of getting to help the community out and seeing what good that does. We do entrepreneurial skills training. What that means is we'll connect them with how to start a business. I have not personally helped anyone start a business yet. However, I do have a couple young ladies who are successful and have taught me a lot, where they've been running their businesses on their own. One has a photography business; she's pretty successful, and one has a goods business where she does like beading and necklaces and stuff like that. So it's been a learning experience for me too, to see about licensure and what you have to do to get a business like that off the ground. Supportive services, what that means is that anyone we work with, we'll do everything we can to try to help them become successful. That means if they get a job at Wendy's, we will get them their black non-skid shoes and black pants to start. Or if they can't find their birth certificate, we will pay for a replacement birth certificate. We help people get driver's licenses. We will help with state IDs, things along those lines. So basically anything within reason, like we can't pay for rent, we can't co-sign for a car or anything like that. But anything that we need to try and help them get a job, we're going to do what we can because we want them to be successful. And mentoring is also a big part of what we do. A lot of these young folks don't have the home system. Some of them do, some of them don't. It's a wide range. But some of them need that person they can lean on and they can talk to and they can trust. And we're there for them to talk to, whether it's that they're having a problem at work, or maybe they're having a problem at home and don't have anyone else to talk to, or they've been kicked out of home or something like that. So we're there to help them make those good decisions. Follow-up services, what that means is that we work with these youth. They're with us for no less than one program year, July 1 through June 30. And the next program year, if they choose to leave our program or if they exit from our program, or say because they've aged out or they've moved or anything along those lines, or they've had great success and don't need us anymore, so to speak, we still stick with them for the year after because we don't want anyone to fall off. We want them to keep on going and keep on doing what they should be doing. The other two on there, post-secondary preparation. If someone's looking at going to college, we want to help them with how to fill out an application, FAFSA, the essays if they need to, stuff like that. And labor market information, we just make sure we're always giving the people that we're working with the most current job information out there so that they can try and get connected with something to be successful. Going back to the paid and unpaid work experience, unpaid we don't really do because, our kids want paid. They want to work and they want to get something. So what we operate is we operate an 8-week summer work youth experience program. It will run this year from July 9th through August 30th. The way that works is they work 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 8 hours a day plus a half an hour unpaid lunch. What this does is this makes sure that we can't have them work full-time by regulations, but they're working close to full-time, so they're going to get good hours, they're going to get used to what it's like working out in the real world, and they're going to get good checks off of this. So we pay them 50 cents an hour over minimum wage, so that's a nice little extra benefit to doing the program. We have them off on the weekends because it's summer, and whether it's a high school kid or it's an older youth, we want to give them that as a benefit. Now, we know if you're working I know when I worked at Old Navy when I was in college, weekends off was not an option, but this way we're kind of giving them an extra little carrot to be with the program. Basically, they're expected to act like any other employee anywhere else. We understand it's a youth experience program. Some of them are not as experienced or as polished as other employees, and there may be stuff to learn, but that's the whole point of it. You're learning what to do. But they're also not expected to be given special treatment or anything like that. We want them to be treated just like a regular employee because that's what they're supposed to be. Another benefit of it going through us at Youth Services Systems through this funding of the Northern Panhandle Workforce Development Board is that it goes through our liability and everything else. So if someone unfortunately got injured, it comes back with us through Brick Street. So it's basically all a work site has to do is supervise the youth that are there, make sure they're filling out their time cards correctly, and make sure they're doing the work they should be doing. Otherwise, we're covering everything else. We're covering their paycheck, we're covering payroll, we're covering insurance and everything else if something happens to that kid. So, it's really a beneficial program. We also, this year, will be we're currently operating a Spring Works program. It's a 15 youth, 6-week program that we're done with next week. We'll be operating a Fall Works program and a Winter Works program. So this is kind of exciting because they're smaller numbers. We're only going with 15 each for those, whereas for the summer work, we go with 50 to 60. But this way, we're giving more youth a chance to work, we're giving work sites a chance to have people, and we're letting them get more experience throughout the year. As I did mention, we are looking for participants. That's one of the things is, we want to operate this. Hancock County is a place where we want more people. We need more youth up here. So that's another reason I want to make sure to come up and talk today, besides the fact that we would love the commission to be on site on board as a work site. We need to have youth. So the information's on there. If anyone knows anybody, that's my office phone. Please call me. And eligibility, it varies. It can be income eligibility. It can be if they have had any type of diagnosis, if they are pregnant or parenting, if they have any type of physical or mental disability, or haven't had an IEP when they were in school. There's a large range of ways to be eligible for our program. So you have the kids that just kind of need a little pat on the back and a little push to get going where they're going, and you have the kids that really need a lot of help and don't have the support to do it. So, like I said, it's 126 kids. It's 126 different stories. We have the youth that was a good athlete in high school that went to West Liberty and just couldn't handle not being that far away from home and needed help, and we got him into the laborers union, and he's been successful. And then you have the youth who's, mom and dad hadn't really been there for them since they were a kid, or they're in a transitional living or a runaway homeless youth program with us, and they need to learn and have someone there for them. So, like I said, it's a wide range of youth that we serve, and we would really like to have you folks on board and have some folks join us. So,
Thank you, Donnie.
no problem. Does anyone have any questions or anything? Or
Is a lot of your youth from the summer program, do they carry over into the fall and winter programs also?
Yes. Now, this year's going to be a little bit different because before it's just been the summer and the fall program, but that's the plan this year is there's always at least a 2-week break between. Okay. So that way, it's to differentiate the monies for one to the other. But yes, the thing is if we have work sites where they are working out well, then they can continue with that. And the thing is we've had a lot of youth that have gotten hired by these work sites. We've had folks hired through the Ron Mulholland Juvenile Detention Center that YSS runs. We've had youth hired at Sistersville General Hospital. We've had youth hired through the Wheeling Housing Authority, the Ohio County Commission. So we've had a lot of success. The nice thing about this is as we know, funding is not always readily available to hire someone on like that. So the nice thing is that we can help continue, and in some cases, our program kind of gives a bridge where if a place, say the Hancock County Commission had someone that was working out up here and you wanted them to do something else, then we could continue to employ them for that 6 weeks, and if there was funding, they could do it and help them out that way as well. We don't want the work experience program to be all they do. I've had a number of youth that have said, oh, hey, I'm going to quit my job at McDonald's for summer, and it's like, don't, keep what you have that steady. This is temporary. But it is a way of making sure they're learning and getting good experience, and especially in professional environments. It's something different that they're learning. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bonnie, thanks for I know you had to take a little detour. It took you longer to get here. But I
Yeah,
appreciate
beautiful
it.
down at Beach Bottom. So,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Okay.
Moving on, under tabled items, approval of a general county budget revision for fiscal year 2017 and 18. Is this going to be what we want to work on next week?
Yes.
We need to keep this item tabled for now. Okay, just want to make sure. Okay. Moving on under new business, approval of a grant agreement with the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources, Bureau for Children and Family. It's a grant for fiscal year 18-19 on behalf of the Juvenile Mediation Program.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval to release pledged securities from Hancock County Savings Bank, which will expire June 30th, 2018.
Move to approve.
Discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of resignation of Mark Henney from the position of Technical Advisory Committee Representative to the BHJ Planning Commission effective May 31st, 2018.
Move to approve.
Discussion?
Yeah, we just put Mark on here not that very long ago, but he has taken a job with the BHJ, so this is a conflict of interest, and we need to accept his resignation.
Motions to accept the resignation is presented.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Approval to advertise for a Technical Advisory Committee representative to the BHJ Planning Commission on the county website.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of reappointment of Walter Ruskowski to the Northern Panhandle Workforce Investment Board of Directors effective July 1st, 2018.
Move to approve.
Discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of an agreement for one-time pickup of materials at the prosecutor's office.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the dog warden, approval of the April 2018 animal shelter report and the April 2018 animal shelter expenses.
Move to approve.
Discussion?
Cat season's coming in. If anybody's interested in cats. Kittens.
Kittens. A lot of people like to adopt kittens. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the Office of Technology and Communication, requesting approval to advertise for a contractor to begin restoration of the original courthouse.
Move to approve.
Discussion? Go ahead. Sorry, Craig.
We applied for a grant for some restoration on the front. I don't know which side of it.
That's
Right behind us.
Yeah, where the main doors used to be and the windows to do some renovation work. So it's a step to beautify our courthouse, try to return some normalcy to it and help the girls downstairs from freezing in the wintertime. Right?
Even improve George's look. Even improve George's look outside.
That's good help.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Requesting approval to advertise in local newspapers for 2 part-time dispatchers.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the Sheriff's Department, requesting approval to hire Heather Brown for the position of tax deputy effective June 4th, 2018.
Move to approve.
Discussion?
She'll be replacing a retiree, correct?
Yes, the retiree is Sally, and she hasn't left yet, but it's in order to
Train.
have some training time. Next month marks their very busy period, so we're trying to ease into it rather than use a ball-peen hammer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Requesting approval to purchase a new server.
Move to approve.
Discussion? Sheriff, this is part of the equipment that we had discussion on the fingerprint imaging machine and so on that we're going to...
Well, we discussed this and the fingerprint machine at the same time.
Right.
This is part of our camera system for our body cameras as well as our cruisers. When we first started getting into this material or camera system, Mr. Vitus was in the middle of building the 911, and we were looking for a server at that time, and he very generously gave us some old servers, which filled up rather quickly and are not capable of handling the software that's necessary. This is when you save this kind of evidence. It requires a lot of room in your servers and the equipment that downloads it digitally. It takes up a lot of room, and I don't mean physically. I mean the information. So we ran out of room using a lot of Mr. Vitus's old equipment, and this will correct all that. So,
Thank you.
yes.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of probates and estates.
They have been reviewed and are recommended for approval as to form.
Move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the exoneration orders.
Move to approve.
Discussion?
Sorry, you have
Yeah, it's 7.
Yes.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of general county bills.
General county bills are $65,740. P-card payments for all funds is $63,546.79. And May expenditures for all funds, $915,238.34.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the animal shelter levy fund bills and requisitions.
They're okay to pay.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the library levy fund bills and requisitions.
Yes, sir. All 3 libraries submitted and they're okay to pay.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the sheltered workshop levy fund bills and requisitions.
2 requisitions and they're okay to pay.
Move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And today we have with us a citizen wishing to speak, Roy Palmentier. Roy, welcome back.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. On behalf of the Hancock Oxcom team, your emergency radio services organization, I would like to again thank you for the assistance and the proclamation that you graciously signed for us announcing Amateur Radio Week. I would also like to once again remind you that on June 23rd, starting at 2 p.m. until June 24th at 2 p.m., we will be operating for Field Day at Clark Field. This is a 24-hour operation where we set up remotely in the middle of nowhere with little more than a generator, a radio, and an antenna, and make contacts worldwide. And again, I'd just like to remind you that you are more than welcome to please come out. We encourage you to see how we can operate and benefit the great citizens of Hancock County. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Mr. Scola, anything come before the commission today?
Would you like for me to explain why the revision isn't, why we're, okay. Two issues. We have the purchasing card. I'll try to make this brief. We have the purchasing card. The statement doesn't close until the last day of the month. We have to wait for all the charges to hit, which sometimes can be another day or two. The other issue is that the tax office has to till the 10th of every month to report all of the county's monies to the state. So even though they work as hard and as fast as they can to get everything in so that we can review the numbers, there's just constraints that we can't avoid. So that's why I asked for an extension so I can have all of our numbers in before the revision is due to the state on the 15th.
Very good. Thank you.
Let me just further say, I mean, the tax office and the bookkeeping department are wonderful, and they really do make every effort.
But that also, it does create a bit of a problem with the commission having their meetings on the first and third Thursday as well, because it doesn't
Right.
really give you time to reconcile for the previous month.
Correct.
Maybe that's something that the commission should look at doing at some point. Maybe moving our meetings from the first to the third, first and third Thursday, maybe to the second and the fourth. I mean, we can discuss it at some point. We obviously have to make some changes for next month's schedule as it is, but we can discuss that and see if there's interest in doing so, if it helps out bookkeeping.
It would greatly help out bookkeeping.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lucas,
Nothing today.
Mr. Vitus,
Just briefly, next Thursday is Flag Day for all of those people that may not remember it. It's still a holiday, and please fly your flags.
okay. Carol, Extension Office.
Just very quickly, camp registrations are in full swing right now. People who are interested, give us a call. Our Energy Express program is all but filled. We have a couple of spots available on the Chester site, but other than that, we are full. I know you gentlemen like to meet our interns when we hire them, so I brought them with me today. Jessica Davis, who is returning for a second year, and also Sean Grove, who is with me for a first year. Sean is a lifelong forager, so he is back with us. So I know you guys always like me to bring them over so that you can say hello and they can meet everyone.
Welcome.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We also have today some young professionals that are joining us from the Leadership Weirton Group. Would you folks like to come up and introduce yourself? Welcome here today. Maybe tell us a little bit about leadership and some of the experiences you've had.
I'm Ernie Nicholas. I work with Steel and Wolf Funeral Home. We've been in leadership since the beginning of the year, and we actually finished tomorrow's our last session, graduation at the end of the month. It's been really interesting learning throughout Weirton and throughout the county about everything that goes on that you don't really know unless you experience leadership, and very interesting. Good.
I'm Lincoln Higgs. I'm with the Weirton Geriatric Center, and it has been very interesting. I'm new to the area, so I got to learn a lot about Weirton, and then I want to thank the commissioners for taking us down to Charleston. Unfortunately, we were not able to make it into the Capitol, but we got to see some really cool, interesting things while we were there.
I'm John Pura. I work with WMC Physician Practices, and I agree with Ernie and Lakin here. Leadership program has been it's pretty interesting, and thank you for having us here today.
Well, welcome, and we're glad that you made it through your program, and graduation's in a couple weeks, huh? Good. Well, thank you for coming today.
A little quick story on their trip to Charleston. They had a day planned. They were supposed to be at the Supreme Court and attend some chambers, and that was probably the largest turnout of the teachers' strike. And just so happened after they got to tour the mansion, Governor Justice was driving in his motorcade and rolled down the window and said hi to us, and we asked him if there was any way we could circumvent the line and get in, and he said, wait a minute, I'll check. And he came back and he says, yeah, come on up here. So as we got up there, the security guard said just the 3 commissioners could go in. And it was like, we're the ones that don't need to go in. We've got this youth group. And unfortunately, we never got into the courthouse that day. So tough thing. Felt bad for you guys.
We did get to see all the people. Long lines. We had lunch. We were able to eat lunch close by. So we had a good day there.
Some music entertainment outside.
We made it probably 10 feet to the door, and then that's when they closed it down by the fire marshals, and no more can come in.
Well, welcome today. Thanks for coming. Mr. Wright?
Nothing to report down at the office. Everything's good. I would like to comment on that Leadership Weirton program. I went through that 2003, 2004. In fact, your wife was the coordinator for my group. And it's a good program. I mean, I encourage people to take it because there's a lot of different things you do each month. First thing we did was bag up groceries over to Harvard Mission. And that was a real eye-opener for me, in addition to a lot of work. But just the amount of people that rely on them for basic food, things like that. You don't realize how bad things are at times, and this was back then. But it was a good program. I encourage anybody to take it that wants to get involved in their community.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck. Sheriff?
Quick story. Something that doesn't happen very often, where civilians step up and assist the police department. In our case, of course, the sheriff's office. We had an accident yesterday around 5 o'clock. Units were tied up. We had one officer who was able to respond to the accident, and it shut down at least one lane of the roadway down by Friars. And had a a couple of citizens show up that took the lead and went out and directed traffic. One of them was our own Rick Smith behind the camera, and the other one was a semi-citizen. He's retired and works part-time downstairs as one of my bailiffs. Would be Jim Benedetto. So I wanted to publicly thank him for stepping up. He directed traffic well over 20 minutes. Got to use a flare, so that might have been, a little dangerous for him, but I am appreciative. Thank you.
Very good.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Rick. Mr. Foley?
Nothing today.
Great. Commissioner Cowie.
Also, I wanted to let you know that through the CVB, we were able to book Gabby Barrett. She was, I guess, third runner-up on the American Idol, and that we are going to have her down at the Event Center on Saturday, June the 23rd. Also, we have a spaghetti dinner for if anybody's interested for Kendall Dunbar. It's a fundraiser that the American Legion Post is putting on for that. So if anybody'd like that, that's the granddaughter of Tim and Jolene Hines and also Tim Christie Quillen. So if anybody's going on, that will be starting at 3 o'clock and will go until 8 o'clock tonight.
Thank you, Paul. Commissioner Barnaby.
I'm good. There's no comment.
Gentlemen, we will have to take action on a couple dates here today. Our next meeting, we will have to schedule a special meeting for the purpose of our budget revision, which will be next Thursday, June 14th at 10 a.m. I'll accept a motion that we meet that day.
I move that we meet June 14th, 10 a.m. for the
Okay.
purpose of not only the budget revision, but anything else that needs to be done.
Very good. Any further discussion?
That will have to be advertised. Bob? That'll have to be advertised. Okay.
Any further discussion on that particular motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We can make note of it next week, or we should go ahead and take action on today. Our second meeting, which generally would have been held on the third Thursday, June 21st, we're going to need to move that meeting until June 28th, which is the fourth Thursday at 2:30 p.m. I'll accept a motion to do so.
I make that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Courthouse is going to be closed on June 20th. That's it's almost 2 weeks from now, but West Virginia Day. So just make note of that too. June 20th, the courthouse will be closed. All right. If we have no further business to come before the commission today, I'll accept the motion. We adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you.